Good Tuesday afternoon, good Tuesday morning, wherever you are in the world that is professional wrestling. Yes, I am Shawn. I'm with David, the Smart Mark, and we are here to recap day number 2 of Progress Super Strong Style 16. And David, do you remember 24 hours ago, some American was really bragging about their bracket and how good their bracket was? I remember this American going like he's carrying the day here, going to day number 2.
Right. I don't want to come from the patron state of smug, but I just named the finalists and the winner, and I named it before the start of the tournament. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And someone was feeling quite pleased with himself in between days. Oh, that sounds like a song for The Cure. And it didn't. But you weren't far out. You weren't far out. Your theories were great theories and great booking theories. They just didn't work out. Whereas mine did.
Well, hang on a sec. We're going to show the fine people what happened to the American bracket. As if you remember 24 hours ago, there was only one red X on this sucker. At the end of the freaking second day, I have 5 red X's. And literally, one match into the show, my bracket was toast.
Yeah, it was. And it was a surprise first match. But in hindsight, very sensible choice. The booking placement, the match placement throughout these 2 days were excellent and very well thought through. And in a world where booking match placement doesn't get considered enough, Progress have to be congratulated for the way they paced their matches. I thought a few of them were a little bit long, but hey, that is a minor criticism.
Okay, so I was perfectly happy. I was sitting down with my iced coffee, and I get to see the first match, and it's Eddie freaking Dennis versus Tate Mayfair. I'm going like, they're opening up with the best match possible. We're going to see Tate Mayfair remove the hardest obstacle in his way on the road to the Mayfair destiny. And David,
Hashtag need more Mayfairs.
first of all, this ungrateful electric ballroom crowd is chanting anyone but Tate, anyone but
Anyone,
Tate. Then,
anyone.
then they had the audacity to chant, Eddie Dennis gonna kill you. Eddie Dennis gonna kill you. It was a biased freaking crowd. Tate Mayfair was fighting the crowd, and later on in this match, we're going to see he had to overcome a biased freaking ref.
You finished? We
Oh
done?
no, I'm not finished because let me ask you my first question. Here's my first question for you: did Tate Mayfair suffer the London screw job?
No, unfortunately not. You can't have that. I love this. It was a great choice of opener. Anyone but Mayfair's is a great song. It's been adapted from a lot of British sports, used a lot in British ice hockey. It's used a lot in British football. But mate. What a good choice to start. Everyone, I'm sorry, even your favourite Welsh headmaster comes out. We get Andrew WK. That was my only regret. I've got to say, I didn't say this in the first day review. I'm not a fan of Kid Lykos, the world champion, what have you, but I do like his walk-on music. Anyone who uses the Wonder Years as their walk-on music gets my vote. So I'm not the biggest Lykos fan by any stretch, but I've listened to his walk-on music all day long. By the by, we got Andrew WK from Eddie Dennis. Fucking brilliant. Excuse me, you're going to need to swear jar because I am still hyper than a hype thing for this show. And the more I'm going back and thinking over it, looking over notes and stuff this morning. Great start. Yeah, they Mayfair. I'm just looking at your hashtag now. Mayfair was robbed. I'm sure Tate would agree with London Screwjob. I expected Tate to advance. I really did. But I'm glad Eddie did. It was a good choice. Whatever happens, no one lost on that match. No one lost on that match. Really, really good match. Loved it.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of this match. It's a nice start to the show. And the Lucky Eddie, Lucky Dennis apologists are going to say Tate Mayfair apparently low blowed their beloved Eddie Lucky Dennis. And the referee stepped in the way from Tate Mayfair having a chance to finish off Eddie Dennis, gave him some time to recover. Tate Mayfair goes for the kill shot to take out the biggest challenge he has on the side of the bracket. And Eddie Lucky Dennis wins with a freaking roll up.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done now.
I could just see you back there in Knoxville going, call 911. There's been a robbery.
I've been on the phone with Scotland Yard for the last 24 hours reporting a freaking crime.
Hey, stop it. It's unlike you to be funny. We've reversed roles here, heel and face.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what these Eddie Lucky Dennis apologists are saying.
Right, okay.
My monitor went out. I saw Tate lock up with Dennis. I thought he was going to go with some kind of suplex or something. I didn't see no low blow. The camera came back on, and I see the referee in the way, and he got robbed. In the story.
Shawn, what time is it there in the morning?
It is 7:45 as we record right now.
Right, okay. 7:45 in the morning there in Knoxville. Go have some sausages, sausage gravy and biscuits. Calm yourself down. Tighten your pants. At the end of the day, Tate lost. And I like Tate, but I like Eddie Dennis more. And I'm glad he got that little bit of an extra push. It was an interesting way of finishing the match because it almost changed the dynamic. But it gives Tate something to utilize his extreme character and move on with. So can we please now calm yourself down? Take a Valium, go and have a lay down, have a cold wash.
Okay, so we're going to move from this match. We're going on to the second match. I'm already screaming no because my bracket just went down in flames.
Mm-hmm.
So my second question to you, did Kid Lykos leave day number 2 in a better position than what he walked into at the start of this tournament?
Yes. Yes.
And I got to say he did. He had a great showing, especially in this match here. And I'm thinking, okay, fine. I don't have my champion. But can we continue the story that I've been pushing for 2 freaking weeks that maybe, just maybe, Kid Lykos II can carry the day here, and we get the tag team looking at each other at the end of the show going like, I'm the champ. The other one has the key. What are we going to do now? But let's talk about this match. Match number 2, Kid Lykos II versus Luke Jacobs. And all I got to say about this was there's a poison freaking runner off the top rope, then a Spanish fly, and a brain buster. And I'm going like, oh my God, they're breaking out every move possible. And this match was so much fun.
The Spanish fly was particularly impressive. I really, really enjoyed that. But it was the right result. I have to say, I'm not a fan of the matchstick clan of Lykos and Lykos. The only use for me is that they can like my barbecue. That's all. That's about it. But you know what? I've got to give credit where credit's due. The World Championship match on day 1 is a must-watch match. And Lykos II, yeah, I'd agree. I can't deny it. I'm going to be honest. My personal feelings don't come into match quality. He leaves in a better position than he walked into the weekend, without a doubt. But obviously, as I predicted a long, long while ago, this was only ever going to be one winner, and it is Mr. Manchester himself, the one and only, the delightful, the honest Mr. Luke Jacobs.
I gotta say, they did a great job getting Luke Jacobs' finisher over. This lariat looks nasty as hell, and the commentary team did great selling this thing as being like the kill shot. Like once you get hit with one of these suckers, you're out. You're out like a light.
Only at one point over the entire weekend did the commentary team suffer. And that was later in the show where they were joined by a third party who's a brilliant cure for insomnia. But the commentary team, Ali, SoCal, deserve every credit, particularly in the final, because we might not get round to make that point, but they were brilliant all weekend. Fair play to them.
Okay, so after the second match, I literally took a match to my bracket and started making s'mores.
Don't make me laugh. I'm not used to you being funny. It's just not right.
Okay, moving on to match number 3 and question number 3 for myself to you, David. What do you think of Mike Santana's showing over the weekend? Because match number 3, Ricky Knight Jr. versus Mike Santana.
Ace was a barn burner. I loved it. Santana was the perfect import. He didn't play. They didn't play with him. They let him get through on the first round, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. But he performed. He was as good as you wanted him, needed him to be. He paid a bit. There was a bit of respect with him and the crowd on the Sunday, on the first day, and then he looked at the lights for RKJ, which is lovely because you got that final. Ultimately, you were heading towards the final that this tournament needed, and they obviously identified it. Fair play. I would love to see Santana again in Progress. Excellent. Well suited.
This was one of my favorite matches from day number 2. This match saw Mike Santana kick out of a razor edge. Then Mike Santana does this amazing, backwards roll into a cutter on RKJ. And I think, okay, Mike Santana may advance, but they had me kicked out. We see Knight Jr. advance here via a jackknife pin. Perfectly good match. This is one of the matches I would tell anybody to go back and watch. And it made me happy after everything from the last 2 matches. I finally got rid of my bracket and I started enjoying the show because I couldn't win no more. So I'm like, fine, I'm going to enjoy professional wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I think ironically, and it wasn't a bad match, but I mean, I look back, I mentioned it on the previous review. My worst match of the weekend, if you have to categorize it, was the first round match with Mike D and Luke Jacobs, 2 excellent wrestlers who just didn't really quite gel. But the beauty of these 2 days is there was no Mafu from Botchamania wouldn't have been hanging around this weekend because he'd have got no material out of Progress. It was that good, unless of course he picks up Jerry Bakewell's entire routine and puts that in Botchamania. I'd quite happily put him in Botchamania for good, but anyway, it's another story. But no, great match. And Santana, getting back, Progress management, getting back.
Exactly. I feel like there's a lot more you can do with Mike Santana in Progress, and there's a lot more people I would love to see him face in Progress Wrestling. Moving on to the next match, and my next question for you. It is match number 4 on the card. It is Man Like Darius versus... I lost my place. Okay, so match number 4, Shelton Benjamin versus Man Like Darius. So I'm going here we go. Other side of the bracket is looking better than my first side of the bracket. And it starts out as 2 guys respecting each other. And I gotta say, Man Like Darius may have poked a bear by coming out and naming himself the gold center of British professional wrestling in front of Shelton freaking Benjamin.
I really, really enjoyed this. From the moment Darius unveiled his gold hair, the crowd helped tremendously. Not that the wrestlers needed the crowd's help, but the crowd added to it, probably is a better phrase. With Shelton got serenaded by Spandau Ballet's Gold again, which was fantastic. Darius has changed his entrance music to Free From Desire, which fitted. It was brilliant. The crowd loved it. Was singing it. They were singing, Darius is on fire, all sorts of things. Then they were singing to Shelton. It was just wonderful. Wonderful. And again, Shelton Benjamin, thank you for coming over. Thank you for being you. I think that from what I gleaned, the general consensus was he was a top fella. He did exactly what the booking wanted. He did it with, grace and humility. And again, if Progress can afford to get him back, I'd have him like a shot.
Okay, so my question to you is, did this weekend make Man Like Darius?
Does he need making? It helped. Anyone who watches him compete in a match with someone as good as Shelton Benjamin like that, but I know what he's capable of. You know what he's capable of. Most of the Progress audience know what he's capable of. I don't think he's any worse off. I don't think he's that much better off. It certainly hasn't made him. It's time, as I said it yesterday, his time will come because he's too damn good.
Well, this match was highlighted by him walking into a spine buster that looked like painful as hell by Shelton Benjamin. And we see Shelton Benjamin get Man Like Darius and a ankle lock. And I'm thinking, like, here comes the tap out. We're going to get the tap out. And Man Like Darius didn't tap out. Then we see a wicked suplex, German suplex by Shelton Benjamin, tossing MLD like a ragdoll. But hey, gotta say, Man Like Darius hit a beautiful pay dirt.
Yeah. I mean, you're like me. I can tell from you just recalling some of these bits. Just great. Just great professional wrestling. They should send a copy of these two tapes over to Mr. Khan and say, look, have a look at that, son. You don't have to go mad to get over.
But when Man Like Darius hit this pay dirt, it kind of flipped a switch in Shelton Benjamin, and Shelton Benjamin got himself disqualified by tossing the referee to the side because he wanted to get his hands on Man Like Darius.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, the beauty of it is, the end of the day, Sean, he's Shelton Benjamin, right? Depending on his schedule, you can't have him back to. He can't win it. He can't win the tournament because then he's got obviously to go into a further match, and then a program with whoever the world champion is. God, in this case, at the moment, it's Swan Vestas 1. So he was never good. So getting disqualified is almost like a dignified way of letting him get away with all his tax. He's not laid that. He's not been beaten. And all of that. Yeah, you can see why they did it like that, and I've got no problem with it.
I love it because you leave an open ending here. You have a chance, if you get Shelton Benjamin back to Progress, you can revisit this match by this inning being what it was. Okay, so we're going.
Sorry, no. There's so many people that they could put Shelton with.
Oh, trust me, I was making a list as I was watching the match. I'm going like, yes, Shelton Benjamin would be perfect in Progress Professional Wrestling. So we're on to the fifth match right before we get intermission. And I was kind of surprised because we were thinking that they would do the women's match as you're coming out of intermission. But after seeing this ladder match, I was happy we had intermission after it because these four ladies went out there with one mission in mind. That was to deliver a damn good ladder match. And personally, I love this freaking match.
Right, I've got some not issues. Firstly, I'm going to bathtub this. Let me get this right. Firstly, all four women delivered. They worked their asses off in this match, and they were not afraid to get them to put their bodies on the line, and they get my utmost respect for that. Went on too long for me, just a little bit too long. And the fact that there was four of them made it a little bit clunky. Okay, but these are minor observations. They're not even criticism, Sean. They're observations that could have just made it that. But I personally, based on what we saw last night, the match for me was to put Kanji over, even though Rio retained. But it was to get Kanji over because Kanji came out of that. Big hand, Miss Kanji. I think what they tried to do, and I might be wrong here, but because it is, and it was mentioned on commentary, and I howled at this. Ollie said, well, we've had a sausage fest all weekend, so we've got four ladies now. And I think what they consciously tried to do They made it a 4-way ladies match because every other match over the weekend was a gents match, which I understand. However, Progress, this modern management Progress, this modern company, are very, very much pro their ladies. And for one weekend of tournament wrestling, they didn't have to. They really didn't have to put 4 women in that match just to, if you like, be correct, to give them all a chance, what have you, because Progress routinely are more than fair with getting their female performers on a level with the men. However, that said, there were some spots in this match that were in a venue that size. Now, you've never been, Sean, been in Knoxville, and I'm not being rude. That ballroom is small. It's much smaller than it looks like on demand. You know, I can't think the capacity is 900 people for wrestling, whereas I think it's about just under 2,000 for gigs. It's all the bouncing souls in there, Rebecca, by the way. Lovely night. But yeah, they performed. I mean, the stunt Kanji did on the ladder over the top rope into the crowd, a backflip was, well, I don't know what you call it, but she put her body on the line. Was just like, wow, not seen that before. That was brilliant. But it got a little bit clunky in places because they were almost like waiting for what was next spot-wise. But the girls were, all of them, to a lady. I love Lena Samuels. Evo stepped up. Kanji, it was almost built around, and the right person won.
You know, you perfectly analyzed this match. And the crowd was chanting for Lizzie Evo. She became the crowd's favorite. At one point, I thought maybe you think in the back of your mind, maybe you do the switch here and let Evo have this moment and have the crowd be happy for her holding that title on top of the ladder. But you're right. The right person won. Rio should retain. And you made 2 baby faces. And I got to tip my hat to Nia Samuels because she was freaking amazing in this match. And she does this innovative ladder spot where she gets Kanji on a ladder on the top rope. And I'm going like, what's she going to do? She powerlifts this ladder with Kenji on top of it and starts using it like an airplane spin and knocking out the opponents. And once she got done with it, she decides, I'm going to toss Kenji like yesterday's newspaper. Okay, fine.
We got to give an honourable mention as well to whoever within the booking team at Progress came up with the mini ladder for Lizzie Evo as well. I did have a chat. Normally, not, you know me, unless it's really, really one of my favourites, I'm not a big comedy fan, but that made me chuckle. I thought that was very cleverly done. And to hear Lizzie over the stream go, someone take the piss! I was just like, I did chuckle at that because she did it so naturally. So whoever came up with that, with the mini ladders in the match, yeah, big hand from this knackered old critic.
Well, I gotta say, after this ladder match, I think they proved they could do my idea of having the women's version of the Super Strong Side tournament.
I still have my doubts, but it gives your arguments more credence with that. The only say, well, they'd have to watch their match timings. Genuinely have to watch their match timings because that was a slight issue in this, but that is a really minor criticism. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, so we hit intermission. I get up, I walk down, I grab my phone, and I start talking to Scotland Yard and protesting the first match result. So I get over my cry. I come back upstairs with some food, and I sit down, and we go into semifinal number 1. And my question from semifinal number 1 is, was Eddie Dennis versus Luke Jacobs the match of the weekend?
Oh, yes, possibly. It's got some competition, the final being one of them, but it's up there. It's certainly top 3.
Okay, so one of the highlights of this match was a kick of a Tiger Driver by Dennis. And this match didn't really get started for a couple of minutes because Luke Jacobs decided, hey, you know what? I'm this new bad guy. I'm going to come down here and jump Dennis during his entrance, and we'll just get started. And I was like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, one of the obviously irrelevant of the final result, but one of the big takeaways of this particular 2 days is the transition that Luke Jacobs has made into full-blown heel.
It was a masterpiece. I mean, like, by the end of day number 2, he was solidly a heel, a great heel with a killer finish that he could do on anybody in this company.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the transition of being, it was. I made the point in the first review. When he lariats Lykos at the end of the World Championship match, there is the point in that crowd. The crowd don't know what to do. It only lasts for about 20 seconds. Go back and watch it. The crowd are quiet. They're taking it in. They're analysing it. Well, how are we supposed to react to this? How do I really feel about this? And that is good suspension of disbelief wrestling booking, Sean. And Luke Jacobs all over the weekend carried that on in his transition to being this new heel character. And I got to be honest, whether I'm supposed to or not, I loved it because everything he said has been true.
Well, you know what I love about this match? I bet you know what I love about this match.
Now, go on, tell me. Apart from you picked it.
Towards the end of the match, Tate Mayfair comes out and he gets his revenge on Eddie freaking Dennis as he beats Eddie Dennis up, tosses Mr. Lucky Eddie Dennis into the ring, and he gets his head lariated off. Luke Jacobs advances, and at least the guy who cost me my bracket is not in the tournament no more. Hashtag sorry, not sorry, Eddie Lucky Dennis.
Well, at least it meant you could leave Scotland Yard ago because they were obviously watching the live feed on Progress on Demand.
They didn't return my call. I wonder why.
It's funny that, yeah.
Okay, so on to semifinal number 2. My final number 2 was a freaking amazing match. Now, we weren't sure if Man Like Darius could come back out to do this match, and I was thinking, are we going to play an injury angle? Are we going to just advance RJK to the next round? But Man Like Darius comes out as a injured babyface, all the sympathy in the world, and Ricky Knight Jr. is looking at this guy going like, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to take this victory this way. And it takes a minute for this match to get started. And once it gets started, they go full babyface versus babyface as Ricky Knight Jr. is going like, I'm going to finish this match quickly. He hits a series of German suplexes, and every time he hits a German suplex, he looks at the ref and goes like, you need to stop this match.
Right. You think back on what you've just said, Sean. You've said this match started slowly and built to a crescendo, which it did. Now, what is professional wrestling supposed to do? It's supposed to tell a story. It's supposed to build. It's supposed to gradually draw you in to the point that you don't know who's going to win. You don't know which way it's going to go. And I refer the honourable gentleman over in America to my point again. Don't come out here with some bell end with a flamethrower, setting someone on fire. Don't just pile straight out of the ring and let's go back. Build a frigging story. Watch this, Tony. Watch this show. You're in London all the time with Fulham. Mate, this story was brilliant. And it was the facials in this. It was just great storytelling. And you got the question, how big of a star is RJK after this weekend showing? Well, very. Everyone's starting to see now how good a talent that young man is. And boy, is he. And it was the right result. It was good storytelling. As I say, you're bang on. Ricky's facials with the ref. Just good stuff. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it.
Okay, so Ricky Knight Jr. wins with a Rikishi driver after a man like Darius tries to climb up to the top rope, hit a move, he slips, and Ricky Knight Jr. takes advantage. This match is over. You have two top baby faces in progress in man like Darius and Ricky Knight Jr. in this match. Leaving this weekend, I'm going like these are your two baby faces to go down the road if somebody decides to take the title off of Kid Lykos.
Yeah. Yeah, please, someone take the title of Kid Lykos. Please. Someone, anyone.
Okay, we're moving on to the next match. And the next one was the Atlas title match. And I gotta say, did the Atlas title match over deliver because the Axeman showed up and he walked away a double champion.
Now, again, this is a minor quibble. I honestly didn't think this match was needed in this card. I know they've got to give the guys time to recover, etc., etc., etc. But I didn't think you needed it. It brought the crowd down a little bit, where in any other day it'd have been up there. It was the right result, by the way. I have to say the Axeman winning. And it was a good match. Can't fault the performance of either. The outgoing champion, who was never going to hold it very long. He obviously won it in America on WrestleMania weekend, which was a bit of a surprise. But you could see why now they're doing it like that. It becomes clear as mud. And I've campaigned for the Sanity guys to have belts. I think Damo, and personally, I think Damo should be up there with Haskins as a world title shot. But now I've got a new favourite to cheer for the world title. So yeah, no issues with the match, but a minor quibble. And I'm being honest, I think it was just one match too many. Considering we've got the over the top Royal battle of Gene Money being Gene Money, etc. to come.
Well, let's not waste no time because we're going on to the next match. And yes, it was the Battle Royal. And David, the one thing this Battle Royal has shown is G Money has turned to the dark side. He is a full-fledged heel now, and he has a freaking spinner belt. The most hated thing in professional wrestling history, a freaking spinner belt.
Sorry. Yeah. For a battle royal, this wasn't too bad, I have to be honest. But it was made by a lot of the first round losers. There was one or two great eliminations. Casey Navarro's elimination, for example. I'm not going to put spoilers in there as regards to the match content, other than for a battle royal in the position it was when everyone's just waiting for RKJ versus Luke. It was all right. It was all right. And you get a Gene Money heel turn, utilising the British celebrity Rufus Hound. And to be fair, I'm still not a Gene Money fan, but I think I'm going to prefer him more as a heel than I certainly am to an awful comedian.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see where he goes at his heel. I feel like he had a run as a babyface. We just need to see what he can do on the other side of the coin. But, David, we're not going to waste no time here. We're going to probably your match of the year. And was it the match of the year? Luke Jacobs versus RJK.
Because I've got a particularly bad memory, I can't say whether it's certainly a candidate. Yeah, I don't think you'll see. I tell you what, I'll put it like this, Sean. If I see better wrestling matches than that final, I will have seen a good match. I will have seen something spectacular because it was everything I wanted, everything I predicted, and more. And it had the added bonus of Luke Jacobs turning heel. He did it. He's done it so well, so naturally. It's just brilliant. It really was good. I'm not going to go into spoil. I don't know what Sean's about to say about it, but just watch it. It's obvious who wins it. So obviously who is going to get that shot, which they've already decided on when the shot's going to be. Since that finished and we come on the air, brilliant match. Watch it, and then don't watch Double or Nothing after it because you'll be disappointed. Or King and Queen of the Ring because you'll be disappointed. This wrestling card was the card of the weekend. Simple.
Exactly. I enjoyed this whole show, this 4-hour plus show. It didn't feel like 4 hours. And
No.
this match is in some of my top 5 matches of the year. And it finishes, you think RKJ is going to hit the Rikishi driver and get the pin. But Luke Jacobs kicks out. It doesn't take one lariat. It takes 2 massive freaking lariats from your new beloved Luke Jacobs, Mr. Manchester himself, to carry the day. And he's just standing there soaking in all the tears of disappointment in the electric ballroom. As like you said, he's the man of the North and he just conquered the South.
It was, excuse me, I'm not being rude here. I'm going onto Twitter to see if I can find something that I saw this morning because it really did make me chuckle. It was super. It was everything I wanted. The whole tournament was everything I wanted. Now, I'm quoting off X. When I pinned RKJ with a face covered in my own blood, I hope it broke the hearts of everyone in the ballroom. You don't get your happy endings, but I do. Super Strong Style 16, 2024 winner, Luke Jacobs' own Twitter feed. You can thank me, Luke, later. All right, you know, I'll take. You can pay me in kebabs. Great tweet, great match, great heel turn. As I say, the moment when he went into the tirade about Lykos being not championship material, not having the build, not having the build, it was just phenomenal, And I cannot wait to see where Progress go with it.
Okay, so after this card was over, Kid Lykos did challenge Luke Jacobs for a Progress World title shot at the next chapter, which will be in July. So we have a little time to wait to see what happens. But my question to you before we go, David, is your beloved Luke Jacobs the biggest challenge Kid Lykos has faced yet in Progress during his title run?
No, because Mark Haskins was. And he beat Mark Haskins. So it's you. I don't want to. We could kayfabe this all day long and say, but I'd like them to hold off with this. Okay, I'd like the Progress management team to hold off with this because of the way Luke has done his turn. Give it a couple of months maybe to fester, and have this match say August, September time, and then put the title on Jacobs. Let him run with it. You've got things like Jacobs versus Damo, Jacobs versus Axe, a rematch. There's going to be one along the lines with RKJ. There's just Reese coming off that. Leon Slater's got lost out in the mix because you look at the way he started. I'd like to see a little bit more of Mike D. I'll be honest, I haven't seen that weekend because he's built like a wrestler, really, really. And although he didn't have the best match with Luke in the first round, I got the impression that it wasn't either their fault, they just didn't gel. There's more to come. But yeah, Luke, I'd like them to hold off. Because Progress do build so well. Look at the prime example is the promo video before the final. The promo video before Haskins and Lykos on the previous day. And even Ollie on commentary said, the people that do these, they're tremendous videos. Tremendous.
They are the best, and they are the best in the business at doing those hype packages. And I love every one that they do.
Yeah. They know how Progress as a company with the talent they've got, when they get something good, which they do get something good. You look back as far as Cara Dragunov, Carl, Spike. I'm trying to think of the ladies, but they just do a hype package really, really well. And I want this to build. I want this to build. I don't want to see the blow. I don't want to see it blown off next month. I don't want to see it. I want it to build. I want to be as excited when that match comes around as I was and am for this weekend.
I agree with you. I feel like Jacobs should just look at him and go like, "Nope, I get the key. I decide when this happens, not you. I'll name my terms." That's what needs to. For me, that's what should happen here.
Heal it up, Luke. Make us wait. But however, Progress, I don't often do this, even allowing for the fact that idiot Bakewell presented both days, and it should be Val. What a tournament. The whole team should be hugely, hugely congratulated, ranging from management to performers to the volunteers to everyone. Even the crowd got it right this 2 days. Absolutely bang on.
Well, I got to say, I saw the second day, and that crowd, and what I saw on the stream, I was wishing I was there in the Electric Ballroom, because that would have been an amazing experience to have. And God, I could only imagine how it was in person. But David, we are going to leave it there. That was Progress Super Strong Style 16 2024. If you somehow missed it, please go over to Progress Demand Plus, subscribe, basically $9 American every month, and you can watch the back catalog, and you can watch my new favorite professional wrestler, Tate Mayfair, get freaking robbed on day number 2, and you can follow hashtag London Screwjob, hashtag London Screwjob Progress.
Can I just say, right, I'm going to get a cheap plug in early with this. June the 9th, Sunday, June the 9th, 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe, if I'm correct, Sean. My new wrestling radio show starts on More Music Radio, www.moremusicradio.com. That's music with a Z. And I can say it now because I've had confirmation this morning. My opening guest, June the 9th, on a two-hour wrestling radio show with me and lots of other voices you'll be familiar with. But my live guest on the first show is none other than Mr. Lee McAteer, one of the co-owners of Progress Wrestling. I cannot wait.
Well, I got to say, we wanted to thank Mr. Lecter. I can't say it. I want to say thank you to the British. No, I messed up. I won't have it edit this out.
Lee McAteer.
Lee McAteer. Okay, I'm going to edit this out. David, I want to thank Lee McAteer for all the support he gave to Radio Free Professional Wrestling over the last few weeks, as he basically posted these videos up on Progress' official Twitter channel and stuff. And I can only thank him so much, because it was a dream to have Progress recognize Radio Free Professional Wrestling. When we first got started, we were just out here talking about our love of professional wrestling, and somehow, some way, we have teamed up with Progress. And I'm like, okay, let's team up with Progress.
We're a big deal now, Sean. We're a big deal.
Well, on behalf of Mr. Big Deal, David the Smart Mark, this has been Sean. If you want to check out Radio Free Professional Wrestling, go down one video. You're going to see me and Ashley talk about Queen and King of the Ring, AEW Double or Nothing, and you'll be caught up on all the professional wrestling over a very long weekend. And until I see you guys next time, stay studying.